world Elias and Elora had forged was radiant, a tapestry of crystal forests and rivers of liquid starlight, a place born from the convergence of their energies after the trials of the veil. Every dawn brought colors they had never imagined, skies painted with hues that seemed impossible, and a soft luminescence that bathed the land in gentle warmth. The air hummed with vitality, carrying whispers of life, subtle melodies that danced in harmony with the universe itself. For a time, they had thought this place would be their sanctuary, a haven where they could nurture the bond they had forged through countless trials. Elias walked along the riverbank, feeling the soft shimmer of starlight upon his skin, each ripple of water reflecting the glow of alien flora. Elora followed close behind, her hand brushing against the petals of flowers that glimmered like tiny suns. Her eyes held a soft luminescence, reflecting the serenity of this world, but also a shadow of unease. Something in the rhythm of the cosmos had shifted. The energy here, while vibrant, carried an undertone of tension, a subtle vibration that only someone attuned to the universe could feel. "Do you feel that?" Elora asked softly, her voice carrying over the gentle rush of the river. Elias paused, closing his eyes for a moment, letting the vibrations seep into his senses. "Yes," he murmured. "It's faint, but it's there. Something's approaching." The horizon shifted as if a brush had been swept across it by invisible fingers. Dark tendrils of cloud began to curl, spiraling in on themselves, forming shapes that were at once beautiful and terrifying. The light of the twin suns dimmed beneath the gathering storm, and the river seemed to hold its breath. Elora's hand found his. "We've faced impossible things before," she said, determination lacing her tone. "Whatever this is, we'll face it together." The storm was unlike any they had seen, a living entity of swirling cosmic energy. Its colors were impossible to name, shifting through every hue of the spectrum, yet somehow carrying a darkness at its core. Stars within the storm flickered erratically, time itself seeming to pulse along with the chaotic currents. Gravity waves rippled through the air, bending the landscape subtly, making the ground rise and fall beneath their feet. It was a warning, a challenge, a test of their unity and courage. Without hesitation, they began preparations. Using the remnants of veil energy, they crafted protective devices, small spheres that hummed with radiant power, designed to shield them from the worst of the storm's anomalies. Every movement was deliberate, every glance a silent affirmation of trust. Their hands met repeatedly over tools and devices, small brushes of skin that reminded them of why they endured so much danger. Not just survival, but the bond that tethered their hearts across galaxies. When the first tendrils of the storm touched the outer forests, twisting the light around them and bending the crystalline trees, Elias and Elora stepped into a small vessel they had fashioned for traversing the chaos. The vessel itself was simple, elegant, a fusion of alien technology and their own energy. It responded to their thoughts, rising and falling with their intent, gliding with fluid grace over the rippling rivers of the world. As they entered the storm, the world behind them dissolved into a haze of shifting colors. Time warped around them, seconds stretching into moments that felt like lifetimes. Gravity pulsed unpredictably, sometimes pinning them to the vessel, sometimes pulling them upward, as if the universe itself were testing their resolve. A shadow moved within the storm, massive and serpentine. Its eyes glowed with a faint amber light, scanning, calculating. Alien predators, drawn to the energy of life itself, slithered through the currents of the nebula, their forms shimmering with partially transparent flesh and energy. Elias gripped Elora's hand, feeling her pulse against his own. They communicated without words, silent agreements that each would protect the other, that no force in the cosmos could sever the bond they had forged. The first predator lunged, a wave of distortion preceding its strike. Elias reacted instinctively, activating the protective sphere. Light radiated outward, fracturing the predator's form temporarily. Elora extended her hand, drawing a line of radiant energy that stabilized the vessel, countering the chaotic currents of the storm. Together they moved with a grace born of trust, each aware of the other's position, anticipating every motion, every threat. Inside the storm, every sense was heightened. Colors burned brighter, sounds fractured and stretched, creating a symphony of alien resonance. The vessel dipped and rose, twisting through currents that seemed alive, alive with the consciousness of the storm itself. It was testing them, probing for weakness, seeking to unravel the unity that had allowed them to survive the veil. Hours passed in a subjective instant. They were separated briefly, tossed in opposite directions by a sudden surge of gravity. Elora's heart raced, and for a moment, panic flickered across her features. But then she felt the pull, subtle yet insistent, of Elias's energy. It was a tether, unbreakable, guiding her through the chaotic currents. She followed it, weaving through luminous streaks of nebula, her every step synchronized with the pulse of his presence. When they reunited, they held each other close, not just for comfort, but as a source of strength. The storm seemed to sense their bond, twisting violently around them, yet unable to sever them. Alien predators circled, some retreating when faced with their combined energy, others striking with unpredictable ferocity. Each confrontation tested them, each challenge deepened their reliance on one another. Amid the chaos, small moments of intimacy emerged. Elias brushed a strand of luminescent hair from Elora's face, his fingers lingering against her cheek. Elora's hand found his, squeezing gently, a silent affirmation that they would endure, no matter what the storm hurled at them. It was not just survival, it was love, it was trust. It was the quiet defiance of the cosmos itself. Deeper within the storm, they discovered structures, ancient, alien, and partially obscured by shifting energy. They hovered over a crystalline platform, etched with symbols that pulsed faintly, resonating with their combined energies. These were remnants of civilizations long lost, entities that had also faced the trials of cosmic chaos. Elias traced the symbols with his fingers, feeling histories embedded in light and sound. Elora stood beside him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the nebula, her presence steadying him as much as the structures themselves. Time lost meaning as they navigated this heart of the storm. Moments of terror blended with moments of awe. Predators attacked without warning, yet each strike became a dance, a rhythm, a test of unity and courage. They learned to anticipate, to move as one, to draw strength from the love that had carried them through the veil and into this reborn world. Night, or what passed for night in a realm where stars flickered unpredictably, fell around them. Yet the storm never fully darkened. It glowed with an internal luminescence, highlighting swirling clouds, temporal distortions, and distant flashes of alien life. Elias and Elora floated through this chaos, tethered together, moving from one safe haven of light to another. Every step was deliberate, every breath shared, every glance a reminder of what they fought for. By the time they reached a relatively calm pocket in the storm, both were exhausted but exhilarated. They held each other, letting the vessel drift, surrounded by a kaleidoscope of nebula light. For a few precious moments there was peace, the kind of quiet that only exists after surviving impossible odds. Elora's voice was soft, almost a whisper. "I never thought I'd see the storm like this. And yet with you, it doesn't feel so terrifying." Elias kissed her forehead gently. "It's terrifying because it's real, because it's dangerous. But we've faced everything together. Nothing can break us." And in that moment, amid swirling lights and distant echoes of alien worlds, the bond between them deepened, becoming a force that even the storm could not diminish. They were not just survivors. They were a beacon, a unity of light and love, capable of navigating the most chaotic corners of the cosmos. The calm was fleeting. As the vessel drifted through the nebula's heart, the currents began to shift unpredictably. Light bent and twisted around them, colors flickering like fragmented memories of distant worlds. Time itself seemed to stutter, moments stretching and compressing in ways that made both Elias and Elora dizzy. The protective spheres hummed in response, pulsating to counteract the storm's chaotic energy. But even their advanced technology could not completely shield them from the living tempest. Without warning, a pulse of distorted gravity slammed the vessel sideways, hurling Elora against the side panel. Elias caught her arm just in time, pulling her close. Their bodies pressed together briefly, the warmth and solidity of each other grounding them amid the ever-shifting chaos. "Are you okay?" he shouted over the storm's roar. "I will be," she replied, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We need to keep moving. The currents are changing." The nebula was alive. Swirling tendrils of energy reached toward them, almost as if testing their will, probing for fear. Shadows moved within the storm, predators unlike anything they had encountered before. These creatures were ethereal yet threatening, their forms partially translucent, glowing with an inner light, tentacles and wings rippling through the currents. They struck with precision, sensing every hesitation. Elias and Elora had to adapt quickly. Using the spheres of veil energy, they created shields that pulsed outward, deflecting the creature's attacks. They worked in perfect sync. He maneuvered the vessel while she directed energy streams to repel the predators. Their movements were fluid, instinctual. Born of countless trials together, even amid danger, their bond deepened. In a fleeting moment, as a massive predator lunged toward them from above, Elias reached across the cockpit, grasping Elora's hand. Their fingers intertwined, a silent promise that no force could sever their connection. The creature recoiled, perhaps sensing the unity of their energy. But the storm was relentless. Gravity distortions tore the vessel apart momentarily, tossing them into separate currents. Elora found herself floating through a corridor of light, alien structures partially visible in the shifting haze. She gripped a rail, trying to steady herself, her heart pounding. Every instinct screamed for her to panic, but she focused on Elias, feeling the pull of his energy through the chaos. He, too, was flung into a vortex, tumbling through a corridor of fractured time. Memories of their past adventures flashed through him. The first meeting with the healers, crossing the veil, the battles with Starborn, moments of quiet love beneath alien skies. Each memory strengthened him, anchoring him to her. With a surge of will, he followed the tether of their bond, weaving through temporal distortions until they finally reunited. The reunion was brief but intense. Elias pulled Elora close, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the turbulent air. "We can't afford to be separated," he whispered, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Not here, not now." Elora nodded, resting her hand on his chest. "Together we're stronger. We always have been." As they moved deeper into the storm, the nebula revealed hidden wonders. Structures of crystal and light emerged, ancient alien constructions that hummed with energy. Symbols etched into the crystalline walls pulsed faintly, resonating with the energy of the veil. Elias and Elora traced the lines, feeling histories embedded in the patterns, civilizations that had faced cosmic storms before, whose knowledge had been encoded into the very fabric of the nebula. The deeper they explored, the more the storm seemed to respond to them. Currents of energy shifted in anticipation of their movements, as if the nebula itself were aware of their presence. Strange anomalies appeared, pockets of frozen time where stars hung motionless, rivers of light that flowed upward against gravity, and shimmering platforms suspended in midair. Amid these discoveries, the predators grew bolder. A massive serpentine creature coiled around a crystal spire, eyes glowing like molten gold. It struck with terrifying speed, and the vessel shuddered under the force. Elias activated the shields, while Elora directed a beam of veil energy to slice through the predator's tendrils. The battle was chaotic, each move requiring precision and trust. During the struggle, a moment of vulnerability arose. The predator's attack tore a section of the vessel, sending both tumbling into an open expanse of the storm. Floating amidst swirling light and energy, they held each other tightly. For a brief instant, the storm's chaos faded, and only their connection remained, Elora whispered. "I don't want to lose you here." "You won't," Elias replied firmly, brushing a glowing strand of hair from her face. "We're stronger together, always." The nebula pulsed around them, as if acknowledging their unity. It revealed a path forward, a series of glowing platforms, each suspended in the storm's energy currents, leading toward the heart of the cosmic tempest. They moved cautiously, each step a blend of trust and courage, navigating through shifting gravity and spectral predators. Along the way, they uncovered more remnants of alien civilizations, tools, artifacts, and devices that hinted at knowledge far beyond their understanding. Some were inert, others still pulsed with latent energy. Elias carefully examined a floating crystal, feeling the vibrations of time and history encoded within it. Elora stood close, tracing delicate symbols with her fingertips, her mind piecing together the stories of those who had come before. The storm intensified as they approached the core. Lightning-like arcs of energy crackled across the nebula, gravity waves surged unpredictably, and the predators became more aggressive. Yet Elias and Elora moved with unity, their bond a guiding light. Each challenge strengthened their trust. Each act of courage deepened their love. Within the heart of the storm, they found a calm pocket, an alien oasis suspended amidst chaos. Light refracted through crystalline structures, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that shifted with every movement. Here, they paused, taking in the beauty and the danger simultaneously. It was a place of reflection, a moment to reconnect with the universe and with each other. Elias held Elora close, feeling the warmth of her body against his. "We've come so far," he murmured. "Through everything. The veil, the trials, the starborn, and now this storm." Elora smiled, resting her head against his chest. "And we'll survive this too. Together, nothing can stop us." They lingered in the calm, sharing small gestures of intimacy, fingers intertwined, whispered reassurances, and stolen kisses. The storm raged beyond the pocket, but within this space their unity was absolute. But the calm was temporary. From the swirling nebula, a massive shadow emerged, the largest predator they had encountered yet. Its form was almost incomprehensible, a fusion of energy, light, and ethereal matter. Its eyes glowed like twin suns, and its movements distorted the currents around it. The storm itself seemed to respond, intensifying its chaos, as if the creature were the storm's guardian. Elias and Elora readied themselves. The predator advanced, and the nebula pulsed in rhythm with its steps. They combined their energies, the spheres of veil power resonating with their bond, creating a shield that held back the creature's onslaught. Light collided with shadow, energy with energy, in a display that would have been mesmerizing to any observer. Every move required perfect synchronization. Elias anticipated Elora's gestures. She mirrored his thoughts. Together they formed a pattern, a dance of survival, skill, and trust. The predator struck repeatedly, yet each attack only strengthened their connection, forcing them to innovate, adapt, and rely on one another fully. Through teamwork, courage, and unwavering love, they eventually pushed the creature back, forcing it to retreat into the swirling currents. The storm began to stabilize slightly, though the tension remained palpable. Elias and Elora floated in the aftermath, hearts pounding, bodies pressed together for warmth and reassurance. As they prepared to continue deeper into the nebula, they realized that the storm held secrets far beyond mere predators. Alien structures, remnants of lost civilizations, and pulses of veil energy suggested that this tempest was alive, conscious, and perhaps even a test of their love and courage. Every challenge they overcame brought them closer, not just as partners in survival, but as soulmates tethered across galaxies.